Vishrucha. So Bhagavan explains in the fourth shloka, 6.8.4. Bhagavan says, Tasya kvamula Syadanyatra devameva khalu sopyanena shungenapo moolam anvichabdihi bhaumya shungne tejo moolam anvichaje tejasa soumya shungena sanmoolam anvicha sanmoolaha soumyoha sarva praja sadayavdhanaha Satt pratishtha. Tasya kwa moolam. We had been explaining about the food from which everything comes, from the energy comes. Now through the food he explains to Chhadogya. It's a very practical example for the person who has not undergone the training of certain things. Because even though Shvetaketu has undergone the Vedic studies, the preceptor did not explain him about the existence and he being the part of the existence. Is why all this started. Sage Uttalaga had to explain all this only because of that he did not understand. So he says that where can be the root of the part of being in the food? As we said about the root, for everything there has to be a root, which we call as a cause. And a cause. This is happening because of a cause. So this is called an effect and there is a cause. The effect, once it is fulfilled, as I told yesterday, once it is fulfilled, it gets exhausted into cause. So it is not something going inside something or outside something or something like that. It gets dissolved into it. It's an inherent part of it. Like the light. Sun rises, there is light all over. Sun sets, the light is gone. Where is the light gone? It's a question. It is not gone. It is absorbed into it. Where is the darkness? When the darkness is that, where the light is less. The light is absorbed into it. When the light comes, the darkness vanishes. Where is the darkness vanishing? Into the light. It's also light. When the light projected has the better intensity, higher evolution, higher vibrational frequencies, the lower vibrations peaks you can see becomes inexperienceable. Is that what is happening? Inexperienceable. It is there, but it is not experienced. Is why we call it as it has gone. The cold is not there. When you wear warm clothes, the cold is gone. Cold is there. It is inexperienceable because of the protection that you have provided. So that what you can experience only, you call it as an effect. That which cannot be experienced is called a cause in some manner, in one manner, not always. So same way, where is the effect getting dissolved into? That's the cause. Cause becomes pertinent. the effect, having experienced it, it loses its prominency, it loses its pertinency, it loses its importance. When it loses its importance, what happens? It is no more there. It's not visible, it's not seen. Like hunger was there, when you eat the food, the hunger is no more there. Hunger is still there. Hunger is not being experienced by you is why you say the hunger is no more there. You see, but hunger is there. That's why it happens again. So it is not experienced, inexperienciable. So same way, tasya mulaha, everything goes into the next root of it, you see. That's why he says, when the food is eaten, annam is eaten, you feel thirsty because the jalamsha in the sharira is utilized for digesting the food, so the quantity of the jalamsha has become reduced, so it requires jalam, is why you are feeling thirsty. So here the jala has gone into the prithvi root, prithvi tattva, jala tattva has been absorbed into prithvi tattva. So jala is the effect, prithvi is the cause. So the jala being the effect, the cause being the prakriti. When the prakriti is prithvi, the prithvi, when it is activated, the cause which is activated, jala is the one which is utilized for the digestion of food. That means execution of karma is being done, utilizing the jala. When you utilize the jala and execute your karma of digesting the food, the jala is exhausted. When jala is exhausted, karma is exhausted. You see, when the karma is exhausted, the effect, that means which is called the effect is exhausted. So when the effect is exhausted, where is the effect gone? It has gone into the cause, which is annam. So what happens? It requires again the effect because of some reason or other. So it requires, then the thirst comes. When the thirst comes, jala tattva has come. Then in order to exhaust the jala, if the jala is more, what happens? Agni tattva has to become the effect. Because the jala has to be dried up. In order to dry up the jala, exhaust the jala tattva, the agni tattva becomes the effect, and that effect gets dissolved into, when jala tattva is no more there, this becomes the cause. Then the agni becomes the cause. Then it like that it goes back to the existence. Ultimately what happens? The existence becomes the bigger cause. If any of this doesn't take place, if the effect is not going back to the cause, because of some reason or other, till the effect goes back to the cause, the process of effectiveness, the process of karma has to be repeated. You got it? Unless the food is digested, you cannot have hunger again. See, in order to have hunger, the karma of the digestion has to take place. If the effect of the jala is incomplete, if the cause of the food or the effect of the food is incomplete, in one of the cases, any of the cases, depending upon the situation, something is not there, the karma is unfulfilled. When the karma is unfulfilled, till the time the fulfillment of the karma, it has to be repeated. You got my point. See how beautifully he explained the principle of life, birth and rebirth, just by digestion of food. It's exactly what happens in the case of karma. Now can you say, whatever I have done, by mistake I have eaten, so you digest it. By mistake I have executed a karma, hey Bhagwan, please pardon me. Is it possible? Is it possible? Nobody can help it, no? Why? Because a food has already gone, the jala, the cause which is there, it is also gone, but it is insufficient in quantity, so the digestion is incomplete. Till the time the digestion is complete, in whichever manner it is, the hunger or the process of the health or the process of the steadiness, stableness or exhaustion of the karma cannot be experienced. Same thing happens in our life. Right? Now you tell me, even if it's a mistake, you can call it as ignorantly I have done it. Is there any way? Ignorantly I have eaten it. Is there any way? It has to be digested. Yes. As far as the food is concerned, at least you can take it out, some way or other. But when an execution of karma is done, can you take it out? You cannot take it out. You got my point? See how beautiful it is? This is exactly what it is. This has to be understood in a clear manner. Then there is no confusion and there is no blaming of others for that. Because of the digestion of the annam is inside you, jala tattva is inside you, digestion has to be done by you. If it is in proportion, it will get digested. If it is not in proportion, it will not get digested. Everything is done by you. How the annam is responsible for it, or how the jala is responsible for it. How someone else is responsible for your karma that you have executed is what I am trying to tell you. Is it not? Is it very clear? This is what he wants to, even though that karma part of it has not come in this shloka, sage Uddhalaka is explaining only, slowly he is going about how the hunger comes, which goes into the other root. Everything has got a root. Everything has got a root and everything has to go into that root. Oh. And that root has got another root. That has to go into that. Like that, it carries on is what he is trying to tell. So, hey Saumya, though food which is, so you will find most of the things are repeated like this, so it's okay, let us go through it. Which is a sprout, understand water as the root. Here, root when I say it is the cause, the other one is the effect. So you can also understand like that. So it should be understood. Root is just mentioning root because it is easily understood by Shvetaketu. So he says root. So the water is the root. The food gets dissolved into the water. Because water is the cause which is digesting the food. The one who is overpowering the other one in order to dissolve, he is the root. Alright? So in this case, the jala is the root. Jala is the cause. For jala, Agni is the cause. For Agni, existence is the cause. So whichever is higher. Whichever is higher means what? Higher in the sense it is not in the power or something like that. The one which is helping the other to get dissolved is the cause. Right? That's the cause. So, hey Saumya, through water which is a sprout, understand fire as the root. If the sprout is water, fire is the cause or fire is the root. So as I told you, everything goes on like that. I am just reading it out there. So, hey Saumya, all these beings have existence as their ultimate root. Existence is their abode. Existence is their place of the merger, where everything gets merged into it, where everything goes into, as we have told yesterday or the previous class, everything comes from there, one after another. It is not, fire, jala, and agni, like that. No. Comes from that, from that, from that. It's a telescopic arrangement, It has to be pulled out like that slowly, telescopically. And it has to be pushed into telescopically, you see. Like the stand goes inside. You don't know whether there are, once it is inside, you don't know how many of them are inside, you see. Externally, you are seeing only one. But when you pull out, it keeps on coming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's exactly what happens here, yes. This is from the existence, how we, others, everything in this universe has come is what he is trying to explain. So being questioned thus, the father replies. Now here what happens? The putra or the Shvetaketu, he is asking him. He's not very clear to him. That's what he has explained. That food is the sprout, and the jala is the root, and jala becomes a sprout, and the agni is the root. Agni is the sprout, and the existence is the root, or on the other way, effect and cause respectively. So he says, Kwa syat malam tatsya, he says, where can be the root of that which is such? Is that what is? Which is there? Being questioned, thus the father replied, of that where the root can be, from being in the food. The idea is that the food alone is the root. Food is eaten, becomes softened by water. So he is explaining the process of digestion. I don't think we have to go through that because you understood that. It is softened by water, so the water quantity exhausts, it becomes reduced, then the Agni Tattva takes over, and things like that. Okay. So this is how the cause and effect takes place. So the next sloka he says, Atha Yatra tat purushaha vipasati Nama teje eva tatpidam nayade tadyada gaurayo shvanayaha purushanayaha iti evam tateja avashtavdanyedi tatrai tadeva shungamutpatitaha somya vijanihi nedava moolam bhavishyati iti. This is now here again the same thing. When a man says he is thirsty, it is the fire that is drunk. At that time, people call the fire as the leader of water, Nayati, leader of the water, and they speak the leader is the one which is leading the other one. As I told you, that why he is explaining this shloka, it is not that it is exhausting it, it is leading. Suppose there is a leader and there is a follower. The follower is inherent in the leader, because that what the leader does is followed by the follower. So you will not find any difference between the leader and the follower, and definitely the leader would be the one which would be identified. It's not the follower who is identified, it's the leader who is identified. Suppose there is a mistake, who is blamed? The leader is blamed. If there is something good, the leader is appreciated, you see. It's a rule, you see. Even though the others are, because the others are following that. So what happens? They become the one with the integrated part of the leader, Nayate. So what happens? They are not existing. Who is existing? The leader is existing. If the leader is not existing, the follower cannot be there. It's not possible. That's what I said. Then it becomes a problem. Till the time the follower is exhausted in the leader, the karma remains standstill. Same way, the leader is the water here and the follower is the food, and unless the food is digested by the water, the leader is that. So the identification is where importance is given by the water content is given importance. So the water is more important, he said, because that is the one who has to dilute it, and then so that the digestion can be proper. So he becomes nayate. Then in order to have this to be dried up, then the fire becomes, the Agni becomes the leader, then the existence becomes the leader. So this is how. So he says by this also he is explaining, it is not only that the food getting digested, that it's also in the life what happens. That which is leading us becomes prominent for us. We don't become the importance. That which is leading us becomes the importance, is what he is trying to tell us. It's not that water and this one. So we have to always connect. Upanishad stays only in sutras, as I always say. What is leading us? What's leading us?
Our desires are leading us.
The mind.
Thoughts. Thoughts are leading us. Mind is an instrument for the thoughts to get implemented into karma and get the result of, enjoy the result of karma. No? Thought. It's a thought which is leading you. For everything, whatever you think right is the one which is leading you. It can be desire, it can be disaster, it can be something else, it can be whatever it is. No? It is the thought who is leading you. So thought is the leader. So the you gets dissolved into the thought. So you are the effect and the thought is the cause. That is why it is known as causal body. Causal body. Which are the bodies?
Causes, subtle and gross.
Gross body, that is Sthula Sharira.
Sukshma.
Causal body, Sukshma Sharira, subtle body. Causal body, Karana Sharira, Karanam. Now it's clear. Karana. Who is the cause? Cause means Karana. What is the Karana? For everything there is a Karana, is it not? For me to read out this Upanishad to you, there is a Karana. There is a reason behind it. There is a purpose behind it. There is a reason behind it. For you to listen to this, there is a Karana for it. There is a reason for it. That Karana is the leader now. I am not important. I am not important. My body is not important. My being here is not important. What is important? Important is that the expression of the Upanishad is important. Nayate, he is the one who is leading. Whether you are there or not there, how does it matter? This has to be there. Is it not? That has to be there. That is the cause. Now what happens? That becomes the cause. Please understand it very carefully and implement it. Upanishad's pravachana is the cause as far as this particular, at this stage it is concerned. Next again it will change always, this stage. You listening is the effect. Listening is the effect. You are not there. You are into Upanishad, in the cause. That which is that what comes out, you are dissolved into it. It should be. Yes. The effect should not be there, then the cause only will be there. This cause will get dissolved into something else, some other cause, whichever is the cause that which I am reading. So that it will go into that cause. That cause will go into the existence. If this happens in this rhythm, there are no effects left out. Are you there then? You're not there. You have dissolved into this. This has dissolved into me. That's why we say the disciple upasana. the meaning of upasana. See, everything is highly interlinked, is what I am trying to tell you. It's beautiful it is now, these Upanishads. Oh, sometimes I wonder and I really appreciate that. They said that upasana is that upasana and nididhyasana. After upasana, it is nididhyasana. Nididhyasana is that the disciple is functioning as the guru thinking, is what nididhyasana. That means what does it mean? Good disciple is not there. Is not. What disciple is behaving like guru thinking, disciple is not there, only guru is there. Because he is doing the same thing what he is thinking. So disciple is vanished. Then when it is done, then the guru starts being the nididhyasaka of something else. So along with the guru gets dissolved into it. So since you are being dissolved into the guru gets dissolved into it, you get dissolved into it. Mathematics. Is it not? This is how they say it is a path towards the liberation. The guru is the path towards liberation. Shastras are the path towards the revelation. Many people say, what is the use of listening it? You're absolutely right. If you are only listening it, there is no use. You are only listening it, there's no use. Then what has to be done? You have to dissolve into that. That's called contemplation and implementing it in the life. So what happens? Your prana, your thinking, your thought, your intelligence, your function will get dissolved into that which is called a guru, who is propagating, pronouncing, projecting, expressing the Brahma Tattva as it is. Brahma Tattva is the Chaitanya. What is Brahma Tattva? Brahma Tattva is the Chaitanya. When you get into the Chaitanya of the Brahma Tattva, the Chaitanya of the Brahma Tattva, if the Brahma is not there, the Chaitanya cannot be there. It's the Chaitanya. Brahma is there, then only the Chaitanya is there. So when you get dissolved into, through the process of this, when you get dissolved into the Chaitanya is the one which is projected from the Brahma. It's called the aura or Chaitanyam, which is projected from the Brahman. When the Chaitanya is projected from the Brahman and you get dissolved into the Chaitanyam is the one which gets, keep on revolutioning through the Brahman. When the projection of the aura is there, the external aura is the Maharishis and Tapasvis, since they are the Antarmukhis or Antariyamis, their travel is only inner self, we call it. So what happens? This aura that is external comes in again, and whatever is there inside, again it is being projected. Or the projection from inside the Brahman keeps on protruding out. Yes. When it is protruding out, the Chaitanyam has to have a revolution. Where will this go? It will have to come back again. Means everywhere it is Brahman only. It is not a circulation. See? Everything is a Brahman. So it gets dissolved into the atmosphere, we call it. That means it is, what is dissolving? Dissolving means again it is coming back. Purification. So again this comes out. So what happens? Aham Brahmasmi happens. This is how the evolution process takes place. You understand? So what I said, from this what we understand, I have just gone up from this. That which is neither leader, water being the leader, the food being the follower, food gets dissolved into the water, diluted. That's why we call it as, we say it is diluted in the water, then only the digestion takes place. We don't say the water gets solidified and digests. You see? You understand? Why? Because the water is the leader. Who is the cause? The cause is the prominent, who is given importance, who only is capable of digesting the food there, in this case, or The leader is known as the leader because he is only capable of leading the others. This is the relationship between disciple and guru. The disciple are disciplined by the guru in the sense enlightenment, light. Guru is nothing but an individual, not an individual, but a principle of jnanam. That's all. So the disciple is the one who is disciplined to merge into the jnanam is the discipline. So long the disciple is not merging into the jnanam, he remains as a disciplined in disciple, not the jnana. But when the nidhyasana takes place, the discipleship is dissolved into the guru, the jnana. So the disciple is no more there. The same thing, the same status changes. Status changes, it's the same thing. But the status changes, is it not? The food is there. Can you say the food is not there? Food is there. But when it is dissolved into the water, food is not visible, not experienced by you. The solid food is not experienced. What is experienced? The dissolved one is experienced. So there the importance is to where? Importance is to Jala Tattva as far as that is concerned. So when the disciple is dissolved into the guru, importance is where? The guru. Guru dissolves into the existence, or the jnanam gets into the existence. Importance is where? Existence. Existence gets dissolved into the prakriti and then to the purusha. Importance is to purusha ultimately. So is why the path linking to the purusha is the guru, the jnanam, because that is the chaitanya. What is jnanam? Jnanam is the Parabrahma Chaitanya. This Parabrahma Chaitanyam is known as the jnana, which is the energy. Which is the energy means light, which is energy, which is light, which is everything. Through which with the Chaitanyam anything can be done. So that is why it is known as jnana. So that Chaitanyam is the Guru. Dissolving anything into that Guru, the true Guru, is the Chaitanya. The true Satt. That is why they called it as Satt Guru. It's a classification created by the people. Satt Guru. Because towards Satt, the Guru leads. There are so many Gurus. Yes. I mean, in the normal language. I'm not talking about the Vedic language. Guru is only one. That is Jnana. Towards the Brahman. But when you come to the other side, because we have to talk that also, because we are all involved in it. There are so many gurus teaching so many things. Giving enlightenment. You learn science in the school. Is also an enlightenment of learning certain things. Learning certain things is also guru. But he is known as a teacher. Adhyapaka. There is a special word for that. Adhyapak. Adhyapak is the one who does the adhyayana and transmitting what he has done the adhyayana. Whatever he has learned physically is teaching you is called adhyapaka. He is not transmitting his knowledge. He is not transmitting his knowledge. He is not transmitting the knowledge. Understand that. He is not transmitting the knowledge. He is reading out. Adhyapaka. Adhyayana means reading. Adhyayana. That's from there. Adhyatmam has come. Reading the Atma is Adhyatma. Adhyayana, the one who is doing the Adhyayana, reading. What is he doing? He is reading or telling. He is reading. You are listening. You repeat that. It's an Adhyapaka. Adhyapaka is different. We have also different names now. One is a teacher, one is an instructor. Why there are so many words there? The one who instructs. Normally in the physical science, in the physical activities, fields and all that, he is known as an instructor. He instructs you, no question, you follow it, that's all. Stand on your head, stand on your head. That's all. So instructor. The one who instructs is an instructor. The one who teaches is an adhyapaka, one who teaches. Teaching and learning are different. Teaching is that to repeat. The teaching is that to teach you to execute karmas is teaching. In our life, we are learning driving. Somebody is teaching you driving because driving is necessary for you to execute certain karmas. But by driving, you don't become a Brahma Sakshatkari. By driving, by knowing driving, you don't get evolved into Brahman. You don't get a spiritual knowledge. No. But driving is necessary as far as this one is concerned. For what? For executing his karma. For that, an adhyapaka is required. An instructor is required. Adhyapaka is required. Whereas in this Vedic science, in the Upanishad, the Guru is that takes you from the darkness to the light. It is not through teaching. I am not teaching you. You are not by-hearting this. Teaching is that, no, in that case you have to follow the same thing. Word by word. That is necessary. Their word by word following is necessary so that you will have to experiment your executing your karmas in the right manner. Suppose somebody teaches you cooking. You have to take a knife and cut the vegetable on a particular manner. You cannot cut the way you want. Or other than that. It's not. So you have to cut it in that way only. So this is called teaching. That what is taught has to be repeated exactly as it is what you are doing in our life. To execute our karmas. This is necessary to practice. These are all thresholds, these are all steps, these are all ladder to climb towards the experience, ultimate experience. They are all basic necessities. How to write? You have to write like that only. Somebody said you have to write from left to right. Somebody said you have to write from right to left. We have to write like that. Can you change it? No, I will write only like this. It's not possible. No? This is called adhyanam, adhyapaka. This is called teaching. We are all doing that. What our parents have taught us, how to eat, how to sit, how to stand, how to walk, how to talk, how to this. We all learn from the parents, from the teachers, from society that we do. We change the society. Your talking is no more valid. Your behaving is no more valid. You have to adopt other system. Is it not? So the teaching has to be different. There you have to learn something else. This is called teaching. So teaching is that depending upon requirement, depending upon necessity, from time to time you learn new things to implement is called that adhyayana, adhyapaka, teaching, that what is required for execution of karma. That even though you have learned so many things, the karmas that you have done in the Balya and the Yavana is not the one which is doing in the Vardhakya. It is totally different. Now what happens? Depending upon these situations and circumstances, country to country, place to place, person to person, individual to individual, and every situation, every moment to moment, every morning to morning, morning to evening, morning to afternoon, the karmas are different, teachings are different. So, based on that only we are following. Yes. Some countries they say you should eat only once, some country they say it should eat 4 times, some country they say twice, somewhere it is not there. So various disciplines, depending on that. Some animals eat only once in a week. Also is there animals, is it not? So certain discipline, you understand what I am saying? Whereas jnanam, Brahmajnanam is not that. Yes. Brahmajnanam is imparted. You have to be that. You are not to cut the vegetable. You are not to cook it. You have to be the result of it. That's all. Whether the vegetable is crushed or vegetable is cut, immaterial. Then, There is no practice. Depending upon your experience and your preference, it can be implemented. Only thing, it has to be contemplated. Now in that, what happened? There, this has to be repeated. Knowingly, unknowingly, you have to repeat the same thing. Okay? Whereas in this case, what happens? Transmission, that means a transmission in the sense, imparting of the knowledge takes place. It's not teaching. Teaching and learning is connected with the mind and the language and the intelligence and so many faculties of the physical body. Whereas the imparting of the knowledge is from the antaratma to antakarana. Is why it absorbs the knowledge. It is not learning the knowledge. The prana or the atma absorbs the knowledge. Why it is absorbing the knowledge? Because the prana or atma is knowledgeable. That's all. It's not difficult for that. Oh, yes. But for a physical body, it is difficult to learn. It needs practice. That's why that practice makes a man master. Here no practice is required. You cannot, practice like, tasya kwa sulaha, tasya, every day you read the shloka, you won't understand anything. Is it not? What practice you will make? Every day you read the same thing. What practice you can do? Literal meaning you can understand through your intelligence according to your mana. Mano buddhirahankara. No, that is not what is expected. Here, Maharishi is expecting that when he is expressing it, that's why they are all in sutras. These sutras are elaborated by your Atma, by your Antakarana, by your Atma, and absorbs the knowledge, they said. It's not learning the knowledge. So Upanishad is not learned. Knowledge is absorbed. How? As I said, this Sharira is meant for Sharira and Mana is meant for execution of karmas, and those karma phalas should not get the enjoyment, should not have the enjoyment which affects the prana or the antaratma, even though they are not the enjoyers. Based on this characteristics, the rebirth is calculated. So, when you absorb the knowledge, what happens? The antaratma or the antakarana absorbs the Upanishadic knowledge, even though it has the inherent knowledge. That Atma, even though it has the inherent knowledge, it is unable to express that knowledge to the mana. Yes, because mana's non-acceptance is there to understand that. That's why we are doing so many unwanted things. Otherwise, everybody can do the right. That's why Satyuga, nothing was necessary. They themselves, every individual did do the same thing. No instruction necessary. No guru necessary. Nothing was necessary. They could do it themselves. Why? Because they were functioning through the antaratma. But we are functioning through the mana. Yes. Even though they had the mana was only for a practical utility of the guided by the antaratma. But here what happens in us? Even though the guidance of the antaratma is there, the mana has its own individual attractions and attachments. So diverting and going, as I told you day before yesterday, it goes away from the reality, it goes away from the root, it goes away from the house, because looking for the knowledge somewhere else. When that has started happening, the Prakriti has created Shrutis of knowledge. Tapasvis and Maharishis who are evolved listened to the Shruti, they wrote down the sutras like this. Now these sutras since they are sutras, charted it, just note it down so that everything is in an order, it can be learned. The same sutras or the same Shruti have got into many people, many Atmas, many souls or many Atmas. When they read this being the sutra is that which is concising, so like in a seed, the whole tree is inherent, same way. These are seeds only. So when the sutra is absorbed by those Atmas which are evolved, they started exploiting and exploring and explaining the sutras. They are known as the Gurus. For what? So that those which do not understand the mana, the Atma, the mana which has gone away from the root, from the base, these sutras, when it is exploited and explored and have become sthulata, exploited, it's divided into thousands of fractions and exploited like we are talking now. So that it is easily digestible by the mind, and the mind who is looking for an objective experience, going away from the subject, this being an object which is interesting to the mana. Why? Because the basic characteristics of the mana is the jnanam, the basic character. This is running away from the root in order to identify, find out the jnanam from somewhere else. So when it is listening to the same jnanam, this also as external source, it gets satisfied. The mana who is not got attracted and attached to the materialistic glamours gets attached to, please, there is a preference, classification is there. Those minds will get attracted to this jnanam, so that mana will absorb it, go back. When it is reflecting there, immediately what happens? When the antaratma is reflecting to the mana, it is exactly replica of that what has been enjoyed from the objective experience. Mana has enjoyed the objective experience, listening this. Having learned it, satisfied that I have acquired something from outside, goes back there. I'm just physically putting it in dramatically. Mind experienced the jnanam from outside, Upanishadic jnanam. Having satisfied, the ego satisfied that I have experienced jnanam from outside object. This is the truth, so let me go back and tell that at home. He goes back, and when he goes back, he finds this is the same thing that is there. So the mind understands, look, do I have to go all the way? Because it's already here. This understanding comes to the mana, is why he ultimately becomes antarmukhi and gets the enlightenment and gets the liberation from the objective experiences. You got my point? Many parents have no television at home, they don't buy. Even now there are children channel and all that, other channel can be locked and all that. An example. Fine. When it is not available in the house, go outside and he will watch the television there. Either in the friend's house or even in chai dukan has got television nowadays. They will open any channel. He can go to any cyber cafe, do anything he wants. What happened? The mind is trying to experience from the objective experience. Since he thinks it is not available here. Okay. When he comes back, he sees the same thing here. He says, why should I go unnecessarily there? It is here only. Same thing happens to the mana in learning the Upanishad, going back. You understand? This is what happens. So this is what the sage Uddalaka is explaining to. So this is the absorbing. Why did I tell all these things? Knowledge being absorbed in the sense he realizes that it is already there in him. This way it's able to absorb it. But what happens, we all say that is, many theories are there that you are your own guru. There is no external guru necessary for learning. Absolutely right. All these statements are very, very correct. But unfortunately what happens, these are all meant for those people who understands that this is available in me. For them it is right. You understand? Is it not? For them it is all right, but for the others that is not all right. They have to have that. Yes. Otherwise it is not possible. How will you liberate yourself? It is not possible. We have to find a path. Yes. So these are the reasons why it is there. So this, otherwise the Shastras should not be there. Need not be there. Vedas should not be there. From ancient times, from you take any era from that matter, from there onwards, these Shastras are there, people are there, leaders are there, gurus are there, tapasvis are there, maharshis are there, jnanis are there. Everybody seeks their help. Why? Because I am unable to do what you have done. So I need your help, who has already reached you. And not only that, who has reached there? And who is he? He is none other than, it's not an individual anymore, having evolved. He is the Chaitanya of the Brahman. Yes. When he is the Chaitanya of the Brahman, he is the one which has whom to be followed, because he is the one who can reach you to the Chaitanya. Brahmavid, Brahmaiva Brahmati, Brahmavid Bhavati. The one who is a Brahman only can teach you about Brahman. Brahman is what ultimately comes to. So this is how this teaching, it is not a teaching, it is absorbing, it is not listening. Just listening will not help, it has to be absorbed. So the tattva being that you have to dissolve into the cause is what I am trying to tell you. So if you have to dissolve into the cause, the effect should be complete. The effect has to be completed, then only it will absorb into the cause. The food has to be completely diluted, then only it will get digested. Half diluted food, half digestion will take place. Half will remain. That remainant is known as karma phala. In order to digest that, you have to further have the Jala Tattva again. So that is called the repetition of the process. This repetition of the process is called the rebirth. And repeating everything. Is it? It's not clear? It's very clear, I think. Yes. Yeah. So he said, leader, then he said the leader is the water and leader they cannot, and all that. This is what he said. Then he came to, okay, then water has gone into the fire has gone into the, this same repetition of explanation, so I don't think I need to take that. So we will go to Section 9 we will go. Because till then he is explaining about this only existence. We have, see the last sloka in the previous one, he said, we have become identified with the existence even after being merged in the existence, therefore, please make me understand with the help of illustration. So here he has explained starting from this food, then he starts, the one into going into the other, going into the other, going into the Agni, going into from Agni to the existence, up to existence, he has explained to Shvetaketu. I hope we don't have to repeat that, it's okay. So in 9 what happens, in the section 9, here we are going to a little different field. Yatha somya madhu madhukrudo nistishthandi nānāpyayanam vrikṣānam rasan samavaramekata rasam gamayanti. I told you in the previous class, yatha somya madhu madhukruto nishchinti, like the bees going and collecting honey from different flowers. By collecting essence of trees standing in different quarters, reduce the juices into the homogeneous whole. Te tatha tatra na vivekam lavande muhyamam vrikṣasya, etc. As they do not have such distinctive ideas thereas, I am the juice of this tree, I am the juice of this tree, etc. Like we said about differentiation of the flowers and the honey cannot be identified, is what he says. So same way, that's not important. Same way, what happens after you finish your karmas? I hope you understood about the karma part of it. Karma has to be exhausted, otherwise the liberation is not there. Karma mukti has to happen. Otherwise there is no point in further going. This has to be understood. So, how can the karma be executed and exhausted? This has to be understood. As I told you, the food will remain half when dilution can take place only 50%. Dilution has to take place 100%, then only the digestion can be complete. So, in order to have the what is called the dilution and digestion, how do you put it in your life? The dilution is that the cause has to be understood 100%. If the cause is understood 100%, this will be implied upon the effect 100%. That means the 100% dilution. If the cause is not clearly understood, only the effect is done, or 1, 2, or the cause is known, but while executing the effect, I found attractive and very attached and attractive, so I excessively do so many things because of my attraction towards it. Cause is only a particular thing. This is only what is supposed to be done. But we do many things other than the cause, moreover, other than the cause or more than the cause. I gave 10 rupees, said that go and buy 2 bags of bread, which cost only 10 rupees or which will cost only 9 rupees or 10, whatever it is. He found that, look, tomorrow there is going to be a bandh and the bread is very fresh. The fragrance of the bread attracted him to buy more, and there are varieties of bread, and tomorrow he will not get it. So instead of 2, what he has done, he bought 4. Now he doesn't have money for that. The cost is only this much, but the effect you have done because of your attraction and attachment, you have done the excess one. Where will that excess one go? There is no cause for that. So the effect will remain as a cause, the 2 packs of bread will remain as a loan to be repaid back. Yes. You already received it. He will not take it back. Once sold, will not be taken back. Board is there. I don't have money for that 10 rupees to be paid again. Where is the money? There's no money. So the 10 rupee has to be earned. For earning, what you have to do? You have to do so many things. 10 rupee earning. So what happened? Why all these things have happened? Only because of my attraction and attachment beyond the cause in one Janma has created to repay. In order to repay that 10 rupees, I have to execute so many karmas. Why? Because first is that to return money. In order to return money, I have to work. In order to work, I have to educate myself, or some trade has to be learnt, and this has to be the work has to be done. And while doing the work, I met with an accident, broke my leg. That has to be treated. Yes. Again, there is no money. Now, I'm just telling you so many things. So what happened? By the time you may earn more than 10 rupees. By the time you earn 100 rupees, what has happened? Everything is exhausted. But this 10 rupee still remain the balance. Again, you have to work. Now what happened? From some karma, some janma will come at a later date. This is how it happens. Now in this process of working, there was only one karma left out. This has to be paid back. For that I have to do so many things. In the process of fulfilling this karma, in order to remove this effect or this cause, when I was executing that, I made so many mistakes and I made other karmas along with that. There was attraction in digging the pit. There was attraction in doing the work. There was attachment in doing that. What happened? So along with these 2 breads, accumulation has come. Now instead of 10 rupees, there is 100 rupee to be paid back. And it cannot be done in one janma. So this has to be divided. When it is divided, it only increases. For a Muda Buddhi, what happens? This 10 rupee karma increases to 100 rupees every janma, which is multiplied by so many. Now how will you return back all this? Is how the cause and effect proportion goes away. So what to do? Cause has to be understood. The effect has to be only to the limit of the cause. Should not be excess. Neither the cause should remain, nor the effect should be more. Nothing should remain. It should get exhausted. When you put the salt in the water, the complete salt has to be dissolved into the water. Otherwise, when you drink that, or if it is sugar, otherwise you drink that, while drinking, the lumps of that will happen in your mouth. That also. It has to get completely dissolved. No. If it is not dissolved, this will happen. Same thing happens in life also. Now to dissolve that, you have to either add more water. If you added too much of water, salt has to be added. Water has to be added, salt has to be added, water has to be added, salt has to be added. Karma, cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. Alright? So what happened? Based on the cause, the effect has to be completed. So I tell you, please remember this. So I'm just telling you a very simple way. Put salt only to the effect that the water can dissolve. If it is too much of salt, that much of water cannot dissolve so much of salt. Yes. And it should not be too little also. Otherwise the cause remains. Effect also should not remain. So cause and effect should be going parallel. It should be exhausted. Now how to do this? That is why Bhagavan says, Shastra told that it is for a normal human being, it is difficult to understand the quantum of the cause and quantum of the effect achieved. So Bhagavan said in Bhagavad Gita as well as in Vedas and Upanishad that samarpana of the karma at the feet of the Guru. whatever I do for the Ishvara. Whatever I do for the Brahman. That means non-expectation of the results out of the karma executed. Do the karma, do not expect that will make you such and such, such and such, such and such. Whether whatever may be the cause, whatever may be the effect, what happens? I am exhausting the effect. Once the effect is exhausted, there is no cause applicable there. Whatever the effect was there, that I have exhausted, so cause cannot be imposed on this. Because I am not creating a cause out of the effect already executed. If I expect a result out of the karma that is executed, I am creating a cause. Here the cause is you have to execute a karma, that's all. Now, that expectation out of it should not be there. So what happens? This cause will get dissolved into the effect. Why? Because even though the cause is yours, the effect when you have done, the karma that you have done, executed, this is, did the samarpana to Guru and the Ishvara or the God, samarpana has been done. So the cause for the effect is attached with the cause, is affected with the effect. Cause is attached with the effect. When this samarpana has been done to a greater cause from the causes have been created, this cause gets dissolved into the greater cause. So there is no more cause left out. Is how. Now you should understand, you must connect everything. Is how, when you execute good karmas, or when you have spiritual development, when you have blessings of the Guru, when you have blessings of the Ishvara, your papas get dissolved. See? Your papa more, whatever papa you have done, it will get dissolved. How? This is the thing. That means the cause itself is not remaining. Because along with the cause and effect, it goes to the a bigger cause from where the causes have been created. Is how your papa karmas gets dissolved and makes it into punya karmas. It may not convert into punya karmas, at least papa karmas will get dissolved. When I put it into simple language, salt has become more, water was less. Salt has become more. You cannot do anything. So from somewhere, somebody comes and says that, hey, what you have done? What happened? You are helpless. You knew that what the salt I have put is more. You knew. And you are sad about it. You are guilty about it. You are repentant about it. So you do samarpana. Hey Bhagwan, now what should I do? I have committed him, not that neglecting, let it be there, there's no problem. That is the attitude generally. But what happened? A bhakta or a spiritually motivated person says that, I have done a mistake, surrender. Now what to do? Please save me. No, I knew it is done. It is done. It's a mistake. It is done. It's done. I am doing samarpana to you. There somebody comes and pours little more water and dissolves the salt. Is your karma finished? When the blessing is there, papa karma is finished. When that is not there, so your effect has merged into your cause, and the cause and effect has vanished. So your papa karma vanished. This is the importance of Ashirvadam. This is the importance of blessing. From our tradition, from ancient days, this has been happening. It is not a myth. It should not be taken as a myth. And it should not be undertaken as a slavery. The mentality was totally different. Why? Because of the practice of some people, these things have happened. They are not right people. It is not slavery. It is merging into one. Salt merging into water. Neither the salt is inferior nor the water is inferior. Neither the salt is superior nor the water is superior. When the disciple listens to the Upanishad from the Guru, They absorb, the disciple absorbs the jnanam, and the disciple transforms himself as the guru, the jnanam. So the guru and the jnanam, the disciple, become one. Who is superior? Who is inferior? There is no inferior and superior. There is no more and less. There is no good and bad. It becomes one. Because ultimately this goes to the supreme cause. That's all. This is how you understood the secret of this the rahasya of the liberation. This has to be understood. So the people who are ignorant, they only, when they have ahankara in them, they will feel that, look, I am inferior to so and so. The one who has got ahankara, let it be a guru, if he has got ahankara, he will say that I have superiority on them. This book can be read by you also. It is not limited. Anybody knows the language, anybody can read it. By reading this, am I superior? I should be a fool thinking that, is it not? By reading this, I am superior. You also can read it. You become the superior. When you read it, you become the superior. Now, after reading it, now what happens? How I don't become a superior? I am not reading it. Actually, what happened? The knowledge that is absorbed in me, that what I am speaking is we read something and we explain so many things. As I told you, exploiting and elaborating the Brahma Tattva, elaborating that the rahasya of the sutras in a sthula bhava, in a different way. This is the karma that one is supposed to do, and this is the jnanam. This is done by it is not by the individual, or not through the mind, or not through the intelligence. It is the Atma that is being done. It is not teaching, it is not inducting, it is not instructing. No. It is just proclaiming the truth, evidently. Evidently, with reference to the sutras, it is being explained and exploited, in that it's produced, it's projected to Sthula Bhava, so that any Atma who find it beneficial will absorb it. Even though I am speaking it here, this jnanam is spread in the cosmos. Somebody who is sitting somewhere else might get this information, may not be in the language, might get this information for the benefit of their upliftment. See? So where there is no restriction of the space, there is no restriction of the individuals, there is no restriction of the mind is as a whole. The Atma as a whole. So what happens? That Atma, which has got the inclination towards knowing this, will absorb it and understand it. This happens. This is called imparting the knowledge. So one is Adhyayana, Adhyatma, Adhyapaka, another is a Guru. He is the right Guru. And they are the right disciples. So there is no question of the relationship is what? Relationship is only through the Atma. Atma Sakshatkaram. So the Jnanam has to be absorbed in the Antaratma and become one with that. There is no difference. When there is a difference between the Brahmajnanam and me, I am going away from the Brahman, as I told, from the root. We have explained enough on this. Is what ultimately has to be understood when we speak about that when he said that I do not understand, and he says so, and they do not have such distinctive ideas there as I am the juice of this tree and that tree, etc. So when the Atma is absorbing, there is no differentiation. And also, when the karma is over, when we got liberated and the souls are assimilated, and when the Atma is joined with the Parabrahman or Paramatman, there is no difference that so and so's Atma and so and so's Atma. When I talk this, then there will be a lot of contradiction in our system. After death, finished. Even though we say that, oh, somebody's Atma is looking from there and then. Nobody is looking. Atma becomes one with the Parabrahman. It's a common factor. There is no individual identification because the identity of the Sharira and Mana is lost. It's only Atma. So there is no relationship as mother, father, son. For an Atma, there is no such relationship. Please, this is the fact. It may be difficult for us to understand. Then why this system has been adopted is a question. In Hindu Shastras, we have adopted that. We said that the Atma will be there for the liberation of the Atma. We have to do the puja and things. This particular case, I think I have spoken enough. Number of incidents. They are only to make the one who is living realize and make good karmas. Is why this Tarpana and then the Shraddha. Shraddha is nothing but Shraddha. Remembering your grandfather, from where you have come in the physical world. And according to that, I should do certain karmas. Good karmas. Punya karmas. So they said that if you do certain pujas and good things, he will get the benefit of it. This is only a psychological approach to uneducated people, so that at least out of that fear and attachment, they will do good karmas. Puja is nothing but doing good karma. What is puja? Puja is nothing but doing good karma. That's puja. We are putting flower. Is that the purity being offered? I have told about the puja. What is that? Jala is that which is dissolved and things like that. Dhupam, Deepam, all that. The Sugandham. All these things are meant for evolution of that means I am Samarpana, that the Panchadravyas being offered. These Panchadravyas are Pancha Indriyas. All my 5 Indriyas are being offered. Ultimately the Arati being done, my Mana is offered, who is the controller of the Indriyas, the Dashendriyas. There are Dasha, 10 offerings are there, and then Pancha, and then 5. 5 is the Karma Indriya, and 5 is the Jnana Indriya. So 10 Indriyas being offered. Ultimately, the Arati is being done. That means the Mana Samarpana of the mind is also done. When this Samarpana is done, this is the replica of that. This just physically doing certain activities will make a person inquisitive to know why one is doing. So this will be explained. This is how, in order to make the normal people understand the Samarpana Bhava. Naturally, when you do certain things, you get a Samarpana Bhava. When you go to temple and pray, definitely there is a difference. You see, whoever it is, whichever bad man he is, he has got this one. Even, that's why dacoit Kali is there. Dacoits, when before going to kill someone and loot someone, he goes and prays. What is that? Again, to bring his mental equilibrium into realization at one point, he says that, why am I doing it? See, this will question come. So the prayer, the more and more of prayer will make him purified. Even though he does that karma, bad karma, he will make him purified. So constant practices of such physical rituals will make you slowly, because this is necessary. As Shvetaketu doesn't understand about the food being digested, diluted by this one, and then only Agni Tattva comes and things like that. So many people don't understand many things. So this has to be told. Now instead of telling, Maharishis thought, who will keep on telling this? Whether people will listen to him or not. For how many people, how many gurus have to be produced or have to be blessed? It may not be possible. So what happens? let us introduce certain rituals into them. So every house, every mother, every house, these rituals was introduced. So people started practicing that. So that at one day, one fine day, they will definitely understand why we are doing this. So they are all important. Nothing is wrong, because those people do not get any benefit out of it, to make you. They are already evolved souls who have written this, or Shastras. They don't want anything from you. They want you to practice it and come like them. That's all. See, otherwise, what is the benefit out of it? Nothing. Right. So what is this? Ultimately, everything goes to the existence. So, whichever. Now it is very important one here. Taiha vyagro va simho va vruko va varaho va kido va patango va dansho va mashako va yadyad bhavanti tada bhavanti. This must be very interesting for you. For all. Whichever creature, taiha vyagra, whether it is a tiger, singhova, lion, or wolf, pig, insect, grasshopper, fly, mosquito, anything, whichever creature they might be, have been here in this world, they become that. Now don't misunderstand and don't be happy. That Manushya, oh, I am saved at least. I will be this only next Janma. This way, sutras are different, you see. We should understand properly. When an Atma, please remember how is the interpretation should be done. When an Atma behaves like a Vyagra, he will be born as a Vyagra. Atma behaves like an insect or a mosquito, he will be born as a mosquito. Is the meaning of it, not that the mosquito will be born as mosquito, and so because it's generation, grandfather mosquito, grandmother mosquito, great grandmother mosquito, so not like that. They behave like mosquitoes in this Janma, and their attachment and desires are attached like mosquitoes. They will be born as mosquitoes. The one behaves like Vyagra, as Vyagra is the ultimate meaning one has to understand. So he has put it like this. Why? Because why he has put it then? He should have put it straight away. It is not that way. Upanishad is always like that. Straight away it cannot be put. Why? Because what he said is straight away only. Very good. What he said? Vyagra will become a Vyagra, he said. What you understood is only different. Why? You understood in the physical akara and vikara. What he has told is vichara and atma. That's what he has told. A man in vichara who is a Vyagra will be born as a Vyagra. Not in the akara. What you have seen is the physical experience. This one. Otherwise then every Janma we will be born like this only. The same man. So one photograph is enough. For great grandfather, grandfather, grandson, everyone, one photograph. This is the one replica of this, that's all. Divided by. That's not, no. Grandfather is different, father is different, mother is, son is different, everybody is different. Different photographs. Exactly same. This is what exactly, Akara changes. Akara changes. But the relationship was there. Same way, relationship will be there, akara might change. Relationship will be there, akara might change. You understood now? So he says the Vyagra becomes Vyagra. Practice of that. That's why from all angles that it has been advised to us. that when you have got the Manushya Janma after so many of experience of the animal Janma and other Janmas, Kriyas and all that, this Janma we are supposed to function for evolution and merging with the existence. This is the last. This is only Deva, Asura, everything is this only. So, after this, you have to merge with the existence. So long, a mosquito was experiencing, a real mosquito in physical sense, was experiencing that hard way of life. No? Sucking blood and surviving for its own survival. From that, it creates an evolution. It finds out. Some mosquitoes, they, because of their disciplined function of their programming that has been done to them, when they follow exactly same, they get an evolution in the next Janma. And they become, the same thing happens to others also. Even though we might see so many, the mango trees, so many these trees and plants are the same from the seeds, but what happens? Many of them who are born as, you must have read in the in Puranas and all that. Recently I told you a story also about a Maharishi who was passing through when this putra of this Raja, they did not care for him, so he cursed them all. They became the trees of the in the palace. And in the Puranas, many things we can find that they have been born as a tree and then tree speaking and all that. Actually, what happens is that it's an evolution. So something which is there, the tree which is there, that can take birth as something else. But from this, so many seeds have been already produced. From there, so many trees will come. They all will experience. But this tree got the evolution having functioned properly. But a human being who behaved like a tree, he becomes a tree. No. The principle being here, what happened? The princes, the people, the Rajkumars, they were having a wash in that lake. When the Maharishi was passing through there, normally, knowledge has to be respected. The Brahman should be respected. Brahmajnanam has to be respected. Maharishi means it's not the individual. He is not an individual. Some respect has to be shown. He need not to come away from there and touch his feet. No. Consciously from the mind, he has to have standing there. Maharishi. No? That attitude have to be there. No? That respect has to be there. That means his jnanam should evoke in him. What is the meaning of respect actually? No? Again. Why should you do pranam? No. There is jnanam. When the jnanam is there, if you have the jnanam inside you, if it evokes, will automatically have similarity to this jnanam. Is called respect. Similarity to this consciously experiencing is called respecting. We are physically doing it to make us understand. It's a reverse manner. No. Physically we are doing it in order to make our conscious realize that I am experiencing his consciousness as mine or my consciousness as his. Greater. So in order to make you understand, you are doing the pranam. You are doing the respect. And this respect is not a physical exercise or a ritual. Inside you have to feel oneness with that Brahma Tattva, Brahma Jnanam. He is not an individual. You are respecting whom? The Jnanam, the consciousness. So your consciousness and his consciousness should be one. This is called respect. That's why it is also told respect to each other. Not only one to the other. When you respect that Atma, he respects the other Atma also. He does the pranam, he does the ashirvad. What is that? Respect to each other. You got it? There was one brahmachari with Chinmaya machine here. Most of the brahmacharis who was there, because they have come closer to me, they will always come. They do pranam. No difference at all. No, they do that. See. So one day, that Aniket Chaitanya was there those days. Now he is a Swami. Those days he was a brahmachari. Now he is a Swami somewhere. I don't know where is he now. So Aniket used to come. Nice person. He had been with us for quite some time. Even in Bokaro he was there. He told me one day that one senior Swami came for giving a pravachan. So he prostrated in front of him. Aniket, being a senior Swami, naturally and when he got up, Swami looked at him, he prostrated in front of him. Aniket got perplexed. Now, what happened? This great man, he is doing pranam here, right? And he did not speak anything, he just walked off. Then the program went on. He did not get a chance even to go and clarify why did you do it, and he was not brave enough to ask him why did you do it. Or he did not get an opportunity, so he came to me. The next person is me, crucified. Why everybody is, why I am. So he came to me, see, please Guruji, you should tell me, please do this. I said nothing. Simple thing is that the absolute inner consciousness of yours with bhakti, with that bhakti, when you did the pranam, his consciousness and his jnanam inside him did not allow him to be separate, and he wanted to be one with that consciousness that you have expressed, is why he has done the pranam. Actually, he has not done the Swamiji did not do the pranam to Aniket Chaitanya or Brahmachari. The Ishvara did the Bhakt and Bhakti becomes one. I used to talk about Kuchela, I used to talk about that. What is his name? Sudama. Here, Sudama. Okay, Kuchela. Sudama goes to Bhagavan Krishna. His feet was bleeding after walking. Being great bhakt, it's very rare. Immediately takes his dirty feet, keeps it on his lap, washes it, bandages, whatever it is, doing the meditation. So Sudama asking, hey Bhagavan, you Krishna, you are so great and you are touching my feet, I will get papa. He's a Brahman, I will get papa because you are washing my feet and things like that. So Bhagavan says, in yugas only I will get one bhakta like you. And the bhakta is that. Who is a real bhakta? The one who merges with bhakti, the one who merges with Ishvara is a true bhakta. Bhakti is not different from the Ishvara, should not be. So I will never get that. So the principle being, even though physically he is touching the feet and washing the feet and bandaging and things like that, Bhagavan becoming one with the bhakta. That's a principle. Bhakti and bhakt becomes one. That's it. He is the bhakti, others say bhakta. This is what is required. This principle has to be understood. One's not small and big. It's not that a small one doing pranam to big. No. Recognized and realized consciousness or the soul is respecting the realized Brahman. Brahman is realized all. Is called the respect. In respect, okay, I'm not getting. So what we said is that the rebirth, how this rebirth comes. I have always told that the people, they are born in accordance with their mental impressions. See, this is what he has told at last. They are born according to their mental impressions. In this Janma, not that sometime, in many of our Hindu homes, what happened, somebody is dying, they are drawing, and they are given indication of death, taking the last breaths and all that. Some people, old people know that, this will not survive for 2 days. अच्छा सुनो एक काम करो, तुरंत दिया जलाओ, रामायण पढ़ो. Start reading Ramayana last 2 days of his death. So that by listening to that, something will go into his head and he can get little transformation. Whole life he has been doing all sorts of rubbish. Who is that? Anyway, I forgot the name. Like XYZ, whatever it is. He has been doing all that. Now this Ramayana is only a benefit, so that something happens at the last moment, it is okay. But what happens, even though in the last moment, even the regret will not take much of difference all these days, and the regret is not possible. What happens is that the mind is such, that you have been practicing a particular trade. It's only a trade, habit. Trade, it is only trade. I call it as trade, this habit. Habituated of thinking negative, habituated of thinking XYZ, whatever it is. Now, in 2 days, Ramayana will not correct him. Is it possible? It is possible. For some people, it may be possible, then it is good. But if it is not possible, then what happens? So, what happens is that cultivating that jnanam, cultivating that respect, cultivating that bhakti, cultivating that, the ritual, the true way of understanding the knowledge, Upanishadic knowledge, from long, it is necessary. Then only we will be in a position to remember that we have been experiencing. We will be remember, because while dying, it is only half consciousness. At that point of time, you don't have energy to initiate a new thought. If you can energize and initiate a new thought, it's okay. But it is difficult, because that what you had been practicing only you will think at that time. So that what you think, you will be born according to that. The mental impressions have to be changed constantly. That's why he called it as a mental impression. Impression is that which has been practiced for long and become an impressed. Is that what you should be thinking while dying? Or at least for some time. So when our thought is only Brahma Sakshatkaram, Samarpana to the Jnanam, Samarpana to the Guru, Samarpana to Nirakara of that Guru, Nirakara Guru, Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Nishkama Bhakti. When we have all this, ultimately we have only that in the mind. And when we are born, when we will not be born, then what happens? The cause for the birth is no more there. When I have desire, when I have attachment, when I have this, when I have that, it is necessary. In order to fulfill that, we will be taking birth depending upon, what is it meant? Depending upon mental depressions, you take a birth. Depending upon that, what you have got taught, in order to achieve that, which form and shape you require, you will be born according to that. So Vyagra, Simha, and things like that. So if the desire is meeting that requirement, you will be born as a Vyagra. Yeah. You have to be born something like that, so he will be born as like that. So this is why he said, depending upon the mental impressions, you will be born. That means throughout the process, what is our practice and what do we think and what is our desire, what is our expectation. That what is your expectation, to fulfill that you will be born according to that, because through that only you will have to experience it and overcome the experimental experience. Through that you have to learn and then evolve yourself to that causelessness. Otherwise, this will be the cause for you to be born. So in this status you will be born, and from this status you have to function and rise. Because this is the status you want it. Not anybody. Not that Ishvara has created. It is a status you want it because you had a desire to fulfill. Oh, lot of golden jewelry. Kya design hai? PC Chandra. You will be born as a jeweler, probably. Next PC Chandra. Or an employee of PC Chandra. Depending upon. It also possible. Just to show. Every time, every day, you can handle 15. At least I should have 15 necklaces. Why 15? Bhagavan says 50. Okay. Every customer comes, show necklace. 50 necklaces for you. Rebirth is like that. So the impressions of the mind. So it's very important. That's what I said. Our responsibility is only that. That means exhausting karma has got a great link with this rebirth. Your desire of fulfillment of desire. No. Too much of attachment and attraction. Many people have got. Yes. The property, this one, while dying also, they will be thinking of that, oh, kya hoga uska, us zameen ka kya hoga.